most insane man in pro sporting history, John Daly.
He beat Tiger Woods while severely hungover and threw $55,000 into the river during a fight with his fourth wife. John Daly is a name you'll never forget from this video onwards.
Bro, this guy is a Giga Chad. Golfing with no shirt on. What are these, jeans? Or maybe these are just like the professional pants, the slacks that you're supposed to have on. Because I know I have gone golfing at a conventional like 18-hole course. I think I've done it one time, and it wasn't that bad. It was kind of enjoyable. It was just me and my buddy blasting music and just throwing back beers. But I was kind of taken aback at all the other bullshit that you had to do. Like, I didn't know that you had to wear some sort of semi-casual thing, like either a button down or a polo with either some slacks or some dress shorts. I was just like, what the heck is this? Why do I need to wear a uniform? This is stupid. And I still think it's stupid to to like forcibly wear a uniform to try to just play a sport. It's actually ridiculous to me.
Completely different from most athletes. You hate exercise.
But I would say golfing has a lot of, I would say, competitive integrity, in the sense of it's just you versus the competitors, and it's all like 1v1v1v1 or whatever, in an attempt to get the lowest score, you know, with the least strokes to all 18 holes, so on and so forth. And it's just you against Mother Nature, whichever way the wind blows. So, I mean, you could have like someone following you to make sure you're not, you know, dropping your balls early or whatever. And in that sense, I think there's a lot of competitive integrity, but there's probably tournaments where they just rely on the players to just, we use the, what was it called? We use the integrity system or whatever. You have to just be honest, which is like completely hilarious to me. But in the original sense, I think golf has a lot of competitive integrity. I think I haven't really read anything that would say, oh, there's like cheaters left and right with golf and blah, 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 this and that. So I don't know.
Exercise. You despise health food. You smoke. You drink.
His insane lifestyle began after starting a golf scholarship, where at the age of 18, his coach would put him on a very unique diet.
This guy is a straight baller. He is just living life, golfing to his heart's content. He don't care about any of that shit, the exercise, the diet. Fuck that noise. All I want to do is golf.
He used to smoke Marlboro Lights. He said, just start smoking. Here, have a
Bro, this guy is literally Ric Flair of golf.
cigarette. Whatever you got to do to keep the weight off.
On top of smoking cigarettes,
What?
John began to eat nothing but popcorn, Diet Coke, and Jack Daniels, stating in his book, most of the time I was drinking Jack like you wouldn't believe. A fifth a day, sometimes more. Most people would be drunk for a month on what I'd had before dinner, before later adding that he didn't even drink water.
I used to drink anywhere from 12 to 20 Diet Cokes a day.
How?
I don't know, because I don't drink water. I hate water. I cannot stand to drink water.
With this in mind, it's no surprise that vegetables were also out of the question. Quote, I don't eat beans, spinach.
Okay, so this happened to me. Daly is physically sick when he eats vegetables. Okay, this used to happen to me when I was about 3 or 4 years old and my mom tried to get me to eat broccoli. I would put it in my mouth and try to eat it, but I had a 5-year-old's palate. I wasn't used to like vegetable taste. And I would put it in my mouth and I would kind of chew it or whatever, and I would just heave. And then one time I actually threw up after I ate a piece of broccoli. And I was just like, oh my God, I can't do this anywhere. You know, I'm like 3 or 4 or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's not really like that. anymore. I mean, I don't give a shit. Like, vegetables are fine to eat. But it's hilarious. It's always hilarious to me when I see an adult that does not eat vegetables just because it makes them sick. It's like, it's all mental, bro. Just stop. Pretty much, yeah, Daly said, I don't eat beans, spinach, broccoli, any of that stuff. When I was young, my dad would force it down me and I would throw it up. Well, probably because you had a little bit of trauma when you were a little kid. Some of us grow out of it, others don't.
Spinach, broccoli, any of that stuff. When I was young, my dad would force it down me and I would throw it up. However, unbelievably, this diet worked, given Daly lost the needed weight, albeit while failing almost every class as a result of the drinking. I just sit in my room and drink straight out of a Jack Daniels bottle, then go practice for 3 or 4 hours, yet this would only help him to become a better golfer.
When I had a good buzz going, I could play really good golf, and I think...
Okay, so the one instance that I can kind of relate to this, when me and my buddy went out on the water one time, he wanted to teach me how to wakeboard. I have never done anything of the sort at any time, but I was just feeling adventurous that day, and I was like, okay, yeah, sure. So we get out there, we're on a wake boat, or a jet boat, or whatever. So there's no engine, at least like on the outside, and it's, you know, pretty safe boat, and I got the life vest on or whatever. I got the a board and the boots on, and I'm like, okay, ready. It took me about 10 tries of just getting up and falling back down for me to down a couple of beers, get a little buzz going, and then literally on the next try, I was able to stand up. And it felt crazy, and it was because my buddy identified that whenever I tried to like get up, I looked stiff and nervous. I mean, because I was, and drinking the alcohol, it loosens you up, but it's wakeboarding. You still have to stay like kind of tight-ish, but I don't know, but it just worked. So I can 100% understand what he is saying when it comes to golfing, and he needs to have a buzz in order to loosen up, and then he'll be like good at it. So I 100% get it.
It's just because the body's so loose and like free.
Not to mention he was also, quote, one of the hardest working guys on the team. This, in combination with over 16 years of practice, led Daly to win his first ever professional tournament at the age of 21, writing, "My winner's check was for $6,700. The next 2 months I made about $28,000.
Wait, I took it right home and tried to give it to mom. She wouldn't take it. She wouldn't even take back the $300 she'd given me. Dang." So it would appear on the surface that this guy is a degenerate with all the drinking and overweight bullshit, but he's actually an insanely good golfer and really cares about his mom. So that's very interesting.
In 4 events. Yet this wasn't the only way that John Daly began to make money. On the Full Send podcast, John explained that he'd bet $100 per hole against unsuspecting players.
$100 a hole, paid for my hotel room, paid for my drinks, paid for everything.
Described in his book as playing other guys for money, usually men at the local golf clubs who thought they were better than they were, who figured they could kick this fat kid's ass. That's the way I spent my summers. Think of it as my permanent part-time job.
That's
Yet this will also
baller.
introduce him to the toxic world of gambling. About 3 years after turning pro, John won $16,000 in a South African tournament before losing the entire amount at a casino less than 24 hours later. In a fit of rage, Daly
You're only a winner until you're a loser. It only takes that one time for you to fall off the horse. Dang.
completely trashed his hotel room, also introducing the early stages of his potentially volatile nature.
Sometimes I'd beat my bus up. Sometimes I'd beat my car up. Sometimes I'd beat a hotel room up.
Despite this, John would go on to win his third.
Well, at least he's taking out all his emotions on inanimate objects as opposed to people. All right? So it's not the worst thing in the world. Yeah, it's weird, but it could be worse.
significant event, which just so happened to have been the PGA Championship, turning John Daly into an overnight superstar.
It was crazy.
Dang.
There was 4,000.
Yeah, I hate when people use this term overnight superstar. I mean, because he put in all this work beforehand, and then it appears like he won the tournament out of nowhere. But to him, it's not out of nowhere. He put in a lot of time and effort into perfecting his craft, and then all of a sudden, he goes and plays a tournament and wins it, which is like a climax for him at this point, I'd imagine.
1,000 people sitting in front of the clubhouse and on the driving range.
For you.
Just waiting for me to get in. And trust me, I was not used to.
All of a sudden, I was being offered tons of money to show up for Monday and Tuesday corporate outings and fundraisers. I was getting paid $25,000, $50,000, $75,000 a pop to hang with golf lovers for half a day.
Dang.
John was paid $230,000 for the championship win itself, yet he'd give $30,000 to the kids of a spectator who was killed by lightning midway through the tournament. This kind of generosity helped John to build a cult-like fan base of people who loved his rough edges.
You have a simple motto. This is a quote. I just hit it as hard as I can, and if I can find it, I hit it again.
Which he was then able
Oh my god. That is the best description of golf I think I've ever heard. That actually makes me want to go play golf. Oh my god. You know, anytime I see golf on TV, it's always very formal. You know, everyone's got their polos, their button downs, their slacks. You know, you got the caddy doing that noise. You know, they get on the grass, they gotta see which way is the lean and the pitch and the roll of the grass. Is it wet? Is it dry? Is it hot? Which way is the wind coming from? Is it humid? All this other shit. I mean, granted, he's probably doing this shit too, but just interviewing this guy, it makes it seem like he just plays. And all that intermediate bullshit is just thrown to the side, even though he probably does all the shit too.
To monetize through some very funny sponsorships. Daly received endorsements from Dunkin' Donuts, Hooters, and a diet pill called Trim Spa, yet it was the golf-specific sponsorships that began to make him millions.
Dang.
I made another $236,000 in 1991 just for playing with ping clubs and wearing a ping shirt and a ping hat. And that
Let's go.
And that was only the beginning. Early in 1992, I signed my first really big sponsorship contract, a 10-year deal with Wilson that paid me millions of dollars a year. However, at the same time, Daly's performance began to go downhill rapidly. After placing first at the PGA Championship, Daly returned the following year to achieve 82nd place, explaining on the Full Set podcast that he'd spent all night drinking, arriving at 7:30 for a 7:32 tee-off.
There was some times on tour that I didn't sober up to about the 13th hole. Yeah, you get in at 7:30 in the morning. I got a tee time at 8:05 or 9 o'clock.
You'd be out till
Sometimes,
7 or 7:30 in the morning when you had an 8 a.m. tee time?
Yeah.
He'd stated in his book, basically my golf game in 1992 played second fiddle to making money and partying. Instead of partying, I guess I ought to just say drinking, which is what it was. For the first time in my life, I let my golf game slide.
Dang. So at this point, it seems that he was at a crossroads where he was getting a lot of his tournament, it was either continue playing and go for that absolute like win from like tournament winnings and becoming better and better, or do all of these other things from get money and get paid from all these other things with, you know, all the outings, the sponsorships, so on and so forth, corporate games, whatever. And there was just a split, it seems.
That whole year, I don't think I practiced more than 2 days in a row, and it showed. Daly's poor performance brought about fits of anger, where he'd fight his opponents, break clubs, or throw them into the water, leading to a suspension from the PGA Tour on account of bad behavior.
What do you mean? I would 100% watch golf if there was more of this behavior. All right? That 100%. You know, all the calm, cool, collected golfing and so on and so forth is nice in order to appeal to like a broad audience, but I would imagine the core golf audience wants it to be more of a spectacle. They want the attitudes. They want the bad behaviors. I would watch if this guy still did this shit.
Behavior. On top of this, Daly was suffering from clear midday alcohol withdrawal, made worse by antidepressants, which gave him the shakes and the sweats and diarrhea. For this reason, Daly made the choice to quit drinking. However, he'd explained that his sobriety made no difference, as he'd simply swap one addiction for another. He'd write in his book, at rehab they call it cross addiction. They warn you that when you give up one thing, like whiskey, you're gonna be looking to replace it with something else. For me, when I stopped drinking, I started eating more chocolate. Sometimes I'd eat 15, 20 packs of M&Ms around with peanuts. I ate chocolate chip muffins and chocolate croissants all day long every day of the tournament, which for whatever reason seemed to work, as John Daly was about to make a comeback. Ooh. After 3 years of very average golfing, Daly came out of nowhere to win the incredibly prestigious 1995 British Open, doing so on a daily diet of 9 chocolate chip muffins. In true John Daly fashion, he ignored a phone call from the US president just so he could eat, stating, "But I still haven't found my dinner yet and I'm starving."
What an absolute Chad. Sorry, Mr. President, I gotta eat. I'll take you when I'm done. Oh my God, I couldn't even imagine that. Like, what do you think, if it was Bill Clinton, what do you think his reaction was? Like, did he just not take a call from the President of the United States? Oh my God. This is the funniest shit. Oh man.
Besides, I didn't even vote for the guy, showing that Daly had the whole world in his hands until he started drinking again. On the brink of divorce with his second wife, Daly gave in and headed out for a big night at the bar before landing himself in hospital after falling through a hotel door. He'd check himself back into rehab around 2 days later, although the media had already gotten hold of the story and his endorsements weren't happy. My two main sponsors, Wilson and Reebok, had dropped me while I was in rehab. The Wilson deal paid me several million a year plus bonuses, and I'd just done another 5-year deal with Reebok. As an alternative, Daly accepted a $1.2 million per year sponsorship from Callaway on the one condition that he stay sober. However, he eventually concluded that the deal wasn't worth it.
A sponsor came to him and said, $3 million, we want to send you to rehab though. And he looked at him and said, I'm good. And took
Oh my God. Bro. This guy is a belligerent. Oh my God. This is the funniest shit. He literally turns down 1.2 million a year to stay sober. Nah, I don't think so. I don't need it.
took a sip.
Although this attitude would then help him beat Tiger Woods in a pretty funny way. Daly had qualified for a small 16-person tournament, and on the night before had drunk 3 bottles of Crown whiskey, leading Tiger to make some cocky remarks about how Daly had no chance of winning.
He says, I'm probably going to kick his ass because JD's drunk right now. I said, okay.
When the tournament started the following day, Daly decided to troll Tiger by acting as though he was still drunk.
And he is looking at me the whole day. I've got drinks coming down, people bringing me drinks on the golf course. He goes, what are you drinking? I said, I got my Crown in here, man. I'm fine. Not 1 ounce alcohol, because if you do that, you get in trouble on the tour. And I got him thinking that I was really still drinking.
Helping John to completely demolish the tournament.
I shoot 65 and beat him by like 6 shots. It's about the last time I ever beat him.
My
Daly
God.
then earned $4 million in 2004 and 2005, yet this would only fuel an addiction worse than any he'd experienced before. Gambling.
Yeah.
The poker, it looked like he was gambling on the pokers.
In Vegas, I'd play the $5,000 slot machine.
Every time you pull it.
Oh, the slots. Oh, even worse. It's even more random, even less skill.
But how much is that?
$5,000.
Oh my God.
It's one pool.
$5,000 spends?
While playing these $5,000 slot machines, Daly fed through $600,000 in a night without winning, before taking out another $600,000, which he'd then lose again, meaning he'd lost $1.2 million in the space of 5 hours.
Jesus.
By this point, Daly was up to his 4th wife, who confronted him about his gambling problem, initiating an argument that ended in the strangest way possible. I won like $55,000 in the casino, and I said said to my fourth wife, Cherie, if you're gonna yell and scream at me about this, I threw it over the bridge going over to Memphis from Arkansas. I threw all the money out the car window and said, you know what, if you want that money, you can go find it, but let me tell you something, you don't have a job, you're not working, I'm supporting you, I'm paying all the bills. My buddy then took her to a McDonald's drive-thru and got her 2 cheeseburgers and some french fries and a soda, and it was like, okay, this is how you can live from now on if that's the way you want it. When John published his book in 2006, he'd gambled away $55 million over a 15-year period. However, the worst was still yet to come. In 2000,
Bro, 55 million in 15 years? And he was still just chilling? Bro, this man could have been on Shark Tank or something. Could you imagine a shark off a Shark Tank gambling that much money, if not more, on just gambling? That's insane. Oh my God.
2007, an article was written on Daly's golf performance stating, John Daly withdrew from 5 tournaments and missed the cut on 8 others on the PGA Tour. His best finish was 3rd place at the Skins game, which only had 4 players. As a result, Daly lost his card, and it might have had something to do with his ever-declining diet. In 2008, CBS reporter Will Brinson was given the job to watch Daly during a professional game, noting that he consumed 21 cigs, 12 Diet Cokes, 6 packs of peanut M&Ms, 0.0 ounces of water, and the alcohol consumption hadn't stopped either. Only 4 months after writing about his diet, Daly was arrested for passing out in front of Hooters, with the negative press resulting in another 6-month ban from all professional golf. As a consolation, Daly's mugshot was placed proudly inside the restaurant. However, he'd end the year with earnings of only $56,000, forcing yet another change in John Daly's life.
Oh dang, then what happened?
Having grown tired of golf club dress codes, Daly decided to purchase his local.
True, man. I've been sick and tired of the golf dress codes forever. Like, it just takes one time for a normal person to just, like, I don't give a shit about wearing specific clothes and giving off a vibe of, oh, this is professional. It's like the stupidest thing, man.
Course.
You don't like a dress code in golf, that you find that offensive. No. You have your own golf course that you bought. Is there a dress code there?
Well, basically, all you got to do is cover your private parts and you can play my golf course.
Initially running the club at a loss, just so the town had somewhere to play.
I'm losing probably $250,000 to $350,000 a year, somewhere in there. Anybody, kids or teams that want to come here and play, I think everybody should have a chance to play golf.
True. I like this man's mindset. Why create additional barriers to entry when it comes to a specific sport? When you want to get people to play a sport, you want to have as little barrier to entry as possible. And a dress code, you know, is kind of here or there for some people, but what's wrong with just a regular shirt and pants like he was wearing? You know, like some basketball shorts, some sneakers, and just a shirt. Like, that's pretty reasonable, man.
If you're on a team, you're more than welcome to come here and play free and, you know, have fun.
Here, Daly was able to practice and make a super successful comeback in 2016, yet more recently his life has taken a turn as a result of bladder cancer. Despite this, Daly has since achieved his best score in professional golf ever, has found massive success with clothing collaborations through a company called Loudmouth, and has done so all while establishing one of the greatest legacies in professional sporting history.
Dang. Wait.
So let's.
He beat Tiger Woods.
This was a good video. I was not expecting this. You know, it would seem that he has a couple of vices. They're not the worst in the world. Like, yeah, he had like 4 wives or whatever, but it's whatever. He didn't really hurt anybody, I think. He just ended up gambling and having a shitty diet. You know, he's not really hurting anybody. And when it comes to his whole mindset on golf, I think it's awesome because he did put in the work and he was able to hang with the greats. And yeah, that was awesome. I would like to see if esports could conjure up any, like, a being like this. This would be so cool to me. Oh my gosh. If any esports could conjure up someone like this, that would be just the coolest. It'd be over. Yeah. No, this is an awesome video. I had no idea. I mean, it's a golf video for me. Like, what do I know about fucking golf? This dude was interesting as fuck, and I liked the video. All right, so that's pretty much it. All right, so I'll catch you guys on the next one, and I will see you later. Peace.